Life has a way of presenting us with challenges that seem insurmountable, as if the world is conspiring against us, pushing us to the edge. We often find ourselves caught in the storm, battered by the winds of adversity, struggling to maintain our footing as the rain lashes out in every direction. These storms, whether they are personal, professional, or emotional, have a way of testing us in ways we never expected. And it's in these moments of crisis, when everything seems lost, that we are confronted with a powerful question. Do we have the strength to endure? Can we rise above the chaos that surrounds us? The answer, if we are willing to listen, lies not in the storm itself, but in how we choose to respond to it. We tend to think of storms as something that come to destroy us, but in reality, storms are not harbingers of destruction. They are invitations to rise. The storm is not here to break us. It is here to build us. Like the fire that tempers the steel, the storm has a purpose: to reveal the strength that lies dormant within us. It forces us to confront ourselves, to face our deepest fears, and to summon the courage we never knew we had. It is in the midst of the tempest, when everything seems to be falling apart, that we discover who we truly are. It's important to recognize that resilience isn't something we are born with. It's something we cultivate through experience. We are not naturally prepared to face adversity, but we can learn how to endure. The storms of life provide us with the opportunity to develop that endurance. They don't arrive with a warning or a guarantee that we'll make it through, but they leave us with a profound lesson if we are willing to listen. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. This means that when the storm hits, we will not rise to the occasion unless we have built within us the systems, habits, mindsets, and character traits that allow us to withstand the pressure. When the winds of adversity blow through our lives, they expose the cracks in our foundation. They force us to look at our weaknesses, to confront the parts of ourselves we would rather ignore. It is easy to remain complacent when the sun is shining and the world is calm. But when the storm arrives, it strips away the illusions we've built around ourselves, leaving us vulnerable and exposed. And yet, it is precisely in this vulnerability that we find our strength. The greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. To be human is to face challenges. To rise is to find the courage to face them, not run from them. We live in a world that often tells us to avoid pain, to shy away from difficulty, to seek comfort at every turn. We are taught to find the path of least resistance and to steer clear of anything that might cause discomfort. But the truth is, growth comes only through challenge. If we are to become the people we are capable of being, we must face the storm head on, without hesitation. It's in these moments of trial that our true character is forged. A tree that has never faced a storm is weak and fragile, but a tree that has stood through countless storms has deepened its roots, strengthened its trunk, and learned how to bend without breaking. It has learned the art of resilience. Think about the greatest figures in history, the ones who have achieved monumental success. Their lives were not free from struggle, far from it. They faced their own storms, but they learned to find strength in the very forces that sought to tear them down. They understood that greatness is not born in calm waters. It is born in the crucible of hardship. As Nelson Mandela once said, "Do not judge me by my successes. Judge me by how many times I fell down and got back up again." It is not the absence of storms that defines us, but how we rise when they come. In facing a storm, we are often confronted with our own limits. The storm tests our endurance, our will, and our patience. It challenges our beliefs about ourselves and forces us to question whether we have what it takes to make it through. But in these moments of doubt, there is also an opportunity for transformation. The storm forces us to look deeper within, to discover new reserves of strength we never knew existed. It compels us to go beyond what is familiar and comfortable, and to tap into our inner resources. The storm is not a punishment, but a teacher. It teaches us to be resilient, to adapt, and to become more than we were before. It's crucial to remember that resilience is not about avoiding pain, it's about learning how to handle it. Pain is an inevitable part of life, but how we choose to respond to it is what matters. Do we let it define us? Do we allow it to break us? Or do we rise stronger and more determined than before? Every storm we face is an opportunity to build our resilience, to develop the strength needed to face future challenges. It's not the storms that break us, it's our inability to see their value, to recognize the potential for growth they bring. The wound is the place where the light enters you. In other words, it's through our struggles that we often find our greatest strength. When you're in the midst of a storm, it's easy to feel overwhelmed, like you're drowning in the chaos. It's easy to feel like you're powerless, like there's no way out. But the storm does not last forever. The clouds will eventually part, the winds will calm, and the sun will shine once again. The question is, what will you have become by the time the storm is over? Will you have found the strength to endure, or will you have been swept away by the current? The choice is yours. You are not powerless in the face of the storm. You are capable of rising, transforming the pain into power, of emerging from the struggle stronger than ever before. We all have storms in our lives, personal losses, career setbacks, emotional battles, but it is in these very storms that we find our true strength. The storm is not the enemy. It is the means by which we discover the vast, untapped potential within us. We are far stronger than we often realize. The winds of adversity are not here to break us. They are here to reveal the strength we already possess, waiting to be awakened. So, when the storm comes, stand tall. Embrace the challenge. Let it shape you. Let it build you into the person you are meant to become. Because in the end, the storm isn't the enemy. It is the very force that will make you unbreakable. Life is full of challenges. It's not a question of whether or not we'll face adversity, it's when. And when it comes, it often feels overwhelming. The pain of loss, the weight of failure, the deep ache of uncertainty. These are the moments that test us, that push us to the brink. But what if I told you that the very pain we seek to avoid, the very hardships we try to escape, are the key to our transformation? What if I told you that the storm that seems intent on tearing us apart is actually the forge in which our greatest strength is made? The truth is that pain is not the enemy, it's the messenger. And it's through this pain that we gain the power to shape our futures. We live in a culture that tries to avoid discomfort at all costs. We have a tendency to see hardship as something to be feared, as something that will break us if we let it. We're told to run from failure, to protect ourselves from the possibility of pain. But in reality, it is through pain that we learn the most about ourselves. It is through adversity that we discover what we are truly capable of. What does not kill us makes us stronger. This timeless wisdom isn't just a cliche, it's a truth we all must come to understand. Without struggle, there is no growth. Without hardship, there is no strength. When we face difficulties, we often view them as obstacles standing between us and success. We see them as barriers that hold us back from reaching our full potential. But in reality, these obstacles are the very things that will propel us forward, if we allow them to. Every challenge, every setback is an opportunity for us to grow. The pain that we feel is not something to shy away from. It's something to embrace. It's a sign that we are being stretched, that we are being molded into the person we are meant to be. It is in the hardest moments of our lives that we learn the most about who we are and what we are capable of. Think of the process of refining metal. When metal is first mined, it is raw and unformed, useful, but not yet valuable. It must be heated, hammered, and shaped. It must be put through the fire in order to become strong, to become useful. The same is true for us. We are not born with the strength we need to face life's challenges. We are not born with the resilience required to withstand the storms that will inevitably come our way. But through the trials we face, we are refined. The pain we endure is the heat that shapes us, and it is through this heat that we become stronger, more resilient, and better equipped to handle the challenges ahead. The key is not to avoid pain, but to learn how to handle it. It's not about whether or not we'll face adversity, but how we choose to respond to it. Will we let it define us? Will we let it break us? Or will we rise above it, using it as the fuel for our growth? The only way out is through. The pain you're experiencing right now may feel unbearable, but it is temporary. The lessons you will learn from it, however, will last a lifetime. It's through these struggles that we find our strength, our purpose, and our ability to persevere. We all have moments in life where we question whether we're strong enough to keep going. We all have times when we feel like the weight of the world is too much to bear, when we wonder if we can really make it through the storm. But it's in these moments of doubt that we must remind ourselves that the storm will eventually pass. The pain will subside, and what will be left behind is a stronger, more capable version of ourselves. The storm is not permanent, but the strength we gain from it is. It's important to remember that resilience isn't something that is given to us. It's something we must build. It's not something that happens overnight, but something that is developed over time. And the storms that we face are the perfect training ground for this resilience. Every time we face adversity and choose to keep going, we are building our strength. Every time we rise after falling, we are proving to ourselves that we are capable of more than we thought. The more we face, the more we grow. And with each storm that we survive, we become better prepared for the next. The key to strength is not in avoiding challenges, but in learning how to face them with courage and determination. It's not about being fearless, but about facing fear and moving forward anyway. It's about understanding that pain is not a sign of weakness, but a sign that we are being stretched, that we are growing, and that we are becoming the person we are meant to be. As C.S. Lewis once said, hardships often prepare ordinary people for an extraordinary destiny. Every struggle you face is part of the process that will shape you into the person you need to be in order to achieve your goals. One of the most powerful things we can do when facing adversity is to reframe our thinking. Instead of seeing pain as something to be avoided, we can choose to see it as something that is making us stronger. Instead of seeing hardship as a roadblock, we can choose to see it as an opportunity for growth. Every challenge is an invitation to become better, stronger, and more resilient. The pain that we experience is not meant to destroy us, it is meant to transform us. It is the very thing that allows us to break through the barriers that stand in our way and achieve the greatness we are capable of. It's also important to understand that we are not alone in our struggles. Every person, no matter how successful or accomplished they may seem, has faced their own challenges. Every person has had to endure their own storms. The difference is not in whether or not we face adversity, but in how we choose to respond to it. The strongest people are not those who show strength in front of others, but those who win battles we know nothing about. The battles you face, the struggles you endure, may not be visible to the outside world, but they are shaping you into someone remarkable. They are giving you the strength to face whatever comes next. When we can shift our perspective and see pain as a teacher rather than an enemy, we unlock the true power within us. It's through pain that we gain the power to transform our lives. It's through adversity that we discover our true strength. And it is through these struggles that we become the person we are meant to be. So when the storms come, and they will, embrace them. Know that they are not here to break you, but to build you. And when the storm finally passes, you will be stronger, wiser, and more capable than ever before. The storm is not the end, it is the beginning of something far greater.